And I'm back with more Spirit of Justice. Started of the trial for Ellen Wyatt in Turnabout Time Traveler. Let's do it. So I should be able to get to a clean break spot in today's episode. And the nice thing is this is not nearly as long as the last case, so it's about half the length. So I'm happy with that in a way. I think it's even less than half now that I think about it. So, good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. So you're still wearing your wedding gown. And I will continue to wear it until our marriage is saved. Oh, Soren! Soren! Do you think he came to see how she's holding up? Soren, my love, you came all the way just to see me? Oh, Soren, I don't know what to say. Blueprints. Huh? The engine blueprints. I can't find them. Do you know where they are? Oh, they're in your room, third shelf from the bottom. Right-hand side. Ah, I see. He's leaving already? Don't tell me he came just to ask about some stupid blueprints. Is he really that cold of a person, or is that just how he comes off? What about me? Ellen. He's back. Come home soon. I'm lost without you. Sorry! Later. Looks like showing your vulnerabilities is the fastest way to capture a woman's heart. You should take more note of this, Nick. Please leave me out of this. Anyway, looks like Soren isn't big on words. But it's clear he cares about Ellen. Knowing that, I actually feel kind of relieved. Mr. Wright, I just absolutely can't be found guilty, you hear? Don't worry. I'm going to do everything I can to prove your innocence. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Trial's about to start, sir. Edgeworth. Knowing him, he's not going to yield an inch. So I just got to fight with everything I've got to save Ellen. It's kind of nice to not have to worry about dying in a trial. But yeah, again, this is one of those low-key ones. Just like the Sasha Buckler one, so... No orcas this time, unfortunately, but... Still should be fun. Court is now in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. I keep wanting to say White, but... The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Seeing so many familiar faces gather like this, I feel as though I'm at a grand reunion. It makes me want to go out for a dinner and a drink and reminisce with all of you. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I was dying for a real burger the whole time I was away. We could make it a welcome back party for Maya. How about it, Edgeworth? I have no intention of cavorting with my enemies. Now then, Your Honor, let us start this trial at once. Still not one for light-headed banter, are you, Mr. Edgeworth? Jokes and good humor are beyond worthless in a court of law. Guess we'll just have to leave the party without him. Or have the party without him, then. However, Were it after the conclusion of this trial, I might consider joining you for your little welcome back party. I certainly wouldn't mind an invite at the very least. He's still as emotionally constipated as ever, I see. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please go over the details of the case for us. The victim was Dumas Gloomsbury, a servant of the Sprocket household. He was in attendance at a wedding reception that occurred at 7 to 10 p.m. Mr. Gloomsbury apparently felt some animosity towards Ellen Wyatt, and so, a bit after the reception ended at 10, assaulted Miss Wyatt with the intention of killing her. The defendant fought back and ended up killing Mr. Gloomsbury. In other words, it was justified self-defense, correct? If that's the case, then the defendant might not be criminally responsible. He's right. Worst case scenario, I could go for self-defense to avoid the criminal charge. Wonder how Edgeworth plans to counter that. The prosecution's first witness will make my view on the matter clear, Your Honor. Very well, bailiff, please bring in the first witness. Is it Larry? Oh, it's Emma. Yay! Always good for fun. Please state your name and occupation, witness. Emma Skye, forensic investigator. And I'd just like to say, sir, that being in the same courtroom as you is a great honor. Huh? Oh, that's right. You're a fan of Edgeworth, aren't you, Emma? We're good friends and all, Mr. Wright. But just this once, I intend to faithfully and fully testify for the prosecution. And I do mean that wholeheartedly. I expect no less from you. Yes, sir! I'm gonna do my very best. Here's my name and phone number. Looks like you just lost the popularity contest to Mr. Edgeworth. I mean, he always does. Really couldn't care less. Damn it. Besides, she'll see who's the better lawyer once I win this trial. Yeah, maybe you'll actually care less. You'll actually really care less. Now, Detective Skye, if you please. And stop trying to flirt with the prosecution! I wouldn't blame her if she keeps doing it. The murder weapon was a clock called a timekeeper. The victim was hit with it from behind and he fell over right into the lantern. The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. The victim was struck twice, by the way. He was struck twice? That's right. There's no mistake about it. No, she's getting serious when she's got the glasses on. First blow was to the back of the victim's head. It was hard enough to knock him unconscious. Yet despite the fact that he'd been immobilized by the first blow, the defendant delivered a second fatal blow to the side of the victim's head. Which means, what exactly? I figured it would go right over your head. Let's put it this way. By striking the victim a second time, the defendant killed her last chance to escape from my criminal wrongdoing. She did, but how? The defendant may have been fighting back because she was being attacked. However, she then went on to deliver a fatal blow to a man who was already fully unconscious. Nick, is he saying what I think he's saying? I don't feel so well. And thus, Mr. Wright, has justified self-defense been removed from the table. The prosecution intends to prove that the defendant killed the victim with murderous intent. Allow me to belatedly submit the victim's autopsy report. So that's why he was acting all smug. Well, more than usual. It's fine, right? It's not like we're gonna plead self-defense anyway, right? Right, but now the judge has a negative impression of Ellen. He may not get to prosecute much anymore, but he's definitely not in Austin's touch. Oh, no, he's not. He's been doing stuff on the side. Which, someday I'll probably get to that game, by the way, but some other year. I've got a lot of other stuff to get through. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, present photo of victim at second statement. Alright, second statement, photo of victim.
Objection!
Detective Skye, I'm afraid I have to apologize in advance. For what? For embarrassing you in front of your idol. What do you mean? If you take a look at this photo of the crime scene, you'll see that the victim is lying on his back. If the victim had been hit from behind, as you claim, then he should have fallen out of the lantern face down. Ah! It's not enough to simply take someone's side, Detective Skye, even if it's Mr. Edgeworth's. There does appear to be a flaw in Detective Skye's testimony. Mr. Wright, you think I'm just gonna back down? You're sorely mistaken. Emma's unusually fired up today. Don't forget she's in front of her hero, Nick. If the Steel Samurai came to watch this trial, I'd want to do my absolute best too. Listen, Mr. Wright, it's entirely possible that the defendant moved the victim's body after he fell over. In that case, there wouldn't be any contradiction, right? Indeed. That was an excellent counter-argument, Detective. You can count on me, sir! Yeah! So what do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? Stop trying to cock-block me, dirt! I'm sorry, I'm just running with that narrative because it's so funny. Because Edgeworth needs a date, and I can't find anybody better. I mean, Emma's a good catch, by the way. But anyway, let's see. Not possible. Because the debris on his chest. Sorry, Detective, but there's no way the victim's body was moved after the death. Oh, really? And what makes you so sure? One look here and it should become obvious.
Take that!
Those broken bits of the lantern. Yes, if the body had been moved after the fact, the fragments wouldn't have fallen off of it. But as you can clearly see, they're lying perfectly undisturbed on the top of the body. This means that the victim must have been lying face up before the lantern even broke. Ah! You're right. But wait a minute. If that's true, then when was the victim killed? I mean, the lantern was still whole during the reception, right? Right. Which means we've just overturned a major assumption about this case. If the victim was already dead before the lantern was even broken, then the body must have been inside the lantern since before the reception started. In other words, the defense asserts the victim was killed before the wedding reception. What? In short, when Miss Wyatt was standing in front of the body after the reception, it wasn't the moment just after the murder was committed. It was the moment she happened to discover the body, just as Miss Wyatt claims. Ah!
Objection!
Whether the act was committed before or after the reception is entirely inconsequential. After all, it was the defendant who prepared the reception hall for the events in question. Therefore, when the murder occurred, changes nothing with regard to her guilt. She could have killed the victim before the reception, as you claim, and then tried to hide his body in the lantern after the event ended.
Objection!
Sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. I mean, where would the body have been hidden during the reception in your scenario? That's... Even you have to admit, Edgeworth, it's opened up a new possibility. Do explain, Mr. Wright. Well, if Miss Wyatt didn't commit the crime in the reception hall, then that means someone somewhere put the victim's body into the lantern. I suppose that makes sense. A dead body couldn't have put itself in there. Exactly, Your Honor. In other words, if the murder actually occurred before the reception, it opens up the possibility he was killed somewhere else. If the body was hidden inside the lantern, then it's possible the body was moved along with it to somewhere else. Oh, you're right. You can run that mouth of yours all you want, but do you have any evidence to support what's coming out of it, Mr. Wright? Of course I do. I think the answer lies in that piece of evidence in something. Present photo of victim. That was left at the crime scene will point us to where the victim was really killed. Very well, Mr. Wright. In that case, what proves that the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else?
Take that!
The photo of the victim again? Yes. I'd like the court to focus on this thing.
Take that!
Flower petals? These petals were from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. That means they must have gotten into the lantern when it was somewhere else. And just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright? I propose that this piece of evidence will tell us where the flower petals came from.
Take that!
Please take a look at the flowers in this picture of the hole. Notice that how the petals are the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo. Yes, I see they do look like that same kind of flower.
Objection!
Is it really all you got? A flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same. I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence. I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave a flower of this type to my lovely wife when we were young, so I can assure you that this is very meaningful and compelling evidence. The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love. But Your Honor. Let it go, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to, after all. But maybe you should study up on them, just in case the opportunity presents itself. This from a man who only knows the names of 3 types of flowers. That's hardly relevant to the case at hand. It's more than you. The defense asserts it's highly probable that the victim was killed in the hole. If the body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason, it would completely destroy the prosecution's case. Then you mean the body was... Yes, the victim's body was... inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception, while the defendant and her betrothed were celebrating their love. What?
Objection!
It's been a while since he did the thing. Your smooth talk might work on his honor, but it won't work on me. What are you talking about now? Take another look at all the evidence and you'll see what I mean. I wish you would just tell me already. Detective Skye, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct? Of course, sir. Mr. Wright's the only one here who has it. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, let's see what you can do. Detective Skye, please give your testimony to this court. I like this tape. The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. It's clear Mr. Bloomsbury was killed after the reception, and that completely contradicts your claim. I guess so. Tell me you took at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright. I didn't, by the way. I wasn't paying attention. It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics? Hey, there's nothing wrong with brushing up on the basics every single time. Sure. Though I must say, you're as cocky as ever. I beg your pardon. What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? I'm just saying that I'll go back to basics if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimating me with a good old-fashioned cross-examination. Very well, let's see you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright. Fog machine at third statement.
Objection!
I admit that the estimated time of death does contradict my theory. Finally, and that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception is still entirely plausible. Huh? What makes you think that? The killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Please take a look at this. And what is that contraption, Mr. Wright? It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall. And this machine could have been used to falsify the time of death? Yes, because the machine uses dry ice to perform the magic. Dry ice. Oh yes, the super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog. I see, so your claim is that the dry ice was used to keep the body cool. Oh. In that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception. Order! Order in this court! Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development? That the victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception. The prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim. Now we're getting somewhere. The prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright. Huh? For what? I didn't know how a certain piece of evidence fit into the case. But now, thanks to you, I do. What piece of evidence? To get into that hold, one needs a keycard like this one. Uh-oh. And here we have a record of those who entered the hold with such keycards. The times aren't specified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. And as you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant. What? So the one who moved the body out of the hold must have been... That's right. It was none other than the defendant. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Larry? Nah, I don't want to do Larry. I don't want to be with Larry. I don't want to talk to that guy. Hey, Nick, take a look at this entry record. There's a couple of other names in there besides Ellen's. You're right. According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth, Pierce Nekotachin had also gone into the hold. Isn't it possible he could have been the culprit? Sorry, but Mr. Nekotachin was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they would be happy to testify to that fact if you like. Think me cocky all you like, Mr. Wright, but my confidence is rarely misplaced. Now then, it's probably safe to assume that after killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved the body to the hole in order to dispose of it discreetly. What do you mean by discreetly? The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception's cleanup personally. That means she would have had a chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship, without raising any suspicion. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss Wyatt volunteering for cleanup duty, Mr. Wright. Oh, look at you, sweating buckets like a rookie even after all these years. Nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim in the hold is Ellen Wyatt. Ah! Great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one. Perhaps you should ask Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies. Way to go, sir! You got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat. I wonder if maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to court today. Certainly made all my stress and woes as chief prosecutor just melt away. I guess he had a lot of stress built up. I'll give him something to stress over before we're through today. Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time, before that man over there tries to throw the court into chaos with his meaningless bluffs. I see. Mr. Wright, are there any last meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to the court? Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff? Nick, hurry up and throw out a good one! I will! Well, alright then. Let's see. I've got it. How do you know it was Miss Wyatt who used her keycard? After all, if it turns out that somebody else used her card, it would mean that Miss Wyatt didn't do it. Interesting. And are you able... Oops. Went into Edgeworth for a second. Interesting, and you are able to prove this bluff to be true? I assure you, I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Well, now what? Wait a minute, Nick. I could think of a certain somebody who might have used Ellen's keycard. You can? Remember? The one who was sneaking around in the hold in spite of not being a family member? Oh, that's right. Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. I need the testimony of this person who may have entered the hold with Miss Wyatt's keycard. This idiot.
Take that!
Oh, that's your witness? Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship? He never breathed a word about it to me. That's not surprising, because Mr. Nekotachin told him to keep quiet about it. But Mr. Butts himself admitted it to me. He claimed to have found a way to sneak onto the Flying Chapel to see Miss Wyatt. This photo he took and gave me as proof. Then was it he who moved the lantern with the body inside the reception hall? You know as well as I that with him anything's possible. And this is one possibility we should definitely look into. I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, remember what we've been saying since elementary school. When something smells, it's usually the butts. Exactly. Oh, that Larry, he'll pay for this. Well, if you want to exact your payment now, he's right up there in the gallery. Bailiff! Seize the witness before he makes a run for it! No! Why is this stuff always happening to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself. Let us break for a 15-minute recess. I ask that both sides prepare for the witness's testimony during this time. dork. Okay. Cool. Alright. So this is about the halfway point. It's always the butts. It's always the butts. So, we'll talk to the butts in the next episode. Thanks for watching.